Hello, welcome to the Nerd Council, your home for everything nerd. Hi, I'm Ludo.
My name is Timmy.
I'm Ryan.
What's going on, guys?
Lockdown is nearly over, and I just can't wait to get out of my house, bro. Like,
We're at the end.
I'm
it's
just
been a
happy
year.
for the bank holiday weekend as well.
Yeah,
Mate, 4 days of just being able to just chill and do no work is. You know what's weird? It's like even though we've been at home, obviously some people have been doing nothing for like the past year, whatever. This 4-day weekend just feels like a breath of fresh air, should I say? Like it's just
needed, man.
ugh. I was waiting for all this to be over, man. I'm
Plus
over it.
the sun's coming out as well.
Sun's shining, birds are
Yeah,
chirping, all that good stuff.
man.
Oh man, it's been a long year. It's been a long year, but it's nearly done. I think we're nearly out of the worst of it. I think, but I do think we're not going to get back to normal anytime soon. I think it's going to be a new kind of normal that we're going to have to get used to, especially with like the whole vaccine certificate thing that they want to roll out and everything else. But at least we get to go in the house, man. That's the important
Yeah,
thing.
but exactly. But it'll be better than what we've had before, innit?
Yeah,
For sure.
for sure.
Vaccine passports. So, Timmy, you probably be one of the first to get a vaccine passport. Because
So
shot on it.
my second shot is due in May, I
Yeah.
think. Yeah. So from there, it's like, okay, well, I'm going out. I'm doing what I want to do
That's
doing
what
it.
you want, bro, literally.
Yeah, but I think the government still. I'm just tired of kind of the wishy-washy rules when it comes to COVID, man. Like, make your minds up about how you want to deal with it. But if it's a case of like you have to have a COVID vaccination certificate, I get it. But obviously, there's some people who are very anti-vaccine. So it's like, how do you deal with those people who
I'm anti Johnson Johnson vaccine. That vaccine
anti-Johnson? That Johnson vaccine
That's some
is
BS.
whew, yeah, nah. My skin ain't peeling for no one. I can't even lie.
Yeah,
Nah,
exactly.
nah.
My skin ain't turning red and peeling. Yeah, looking like beetroot, bro.
True.
These guys come and make normal talcum powder. You mean trust them with a vaccine?
Hey, no way. And then they've got this like express jab that they're trying to give to like young people as well.
Yeah, because
seen
their job is a one shot, innit? Yeah, I don't trust
One
them.
shot. Nah, I don't trust one shot. Nah, no way, man.
I'm not sure to be double cheeked up, man.
All right, let's get into some news. All right, cool. So, Outriders got launched on PlayStation and Xbox and PC and Stadia on Thursday. So, like, I've been playing the game since previous to launch. The game is great. Don't get me wrong, it's a phenomenal game, but they've clearly got some server issues. And I think
Is it similar to like Cyberpunk or not that bad?
no, definitely not similar to Cyberpunk. But there's like there's issues of like people being kicked out of games, not being able to connect with each other, and because it's cross-play as well. There's been an issue with connecting console players to the PC players.
Yeah,
and I'm just thinking, like, don't get me wrong, I understand there's a lot of work that goes into a game like Outriders and games that run on servers, right? But I just feel like when you've got a game with a server, surely you should prepare for the mass, playing of people who are going to be, taking up the server. For example, again, the new Among Us map dropped on Wednesday, I think it was, and the servers just crashed. Like, they weren't prepared for people to be playing.
I don't know. I think it's very hard for like game devs or whatever to stop the servers from crashing. You can never really predict how many people are gonna play.
Do you not think?
I don't know. It's hard, especially where they hadn't released it. It's hard to gauge how many players they're gonna have. I think it's quite a common, not just for them. Like other devs have the same issue as well.
Yeah, it's very common.
I think maybe we can cut them a little bit of slack, especially like on a launch day. Of course, it's going to be flooded. Like it was the same with Grand Theft Auto, wasn't it? You couldn't get online for days.
Yeah, like I definitely am giving them slack, but I just think at this stage, should we not? I don't know. Like, I don't know what goes on behind the scenes when it comes to dev work and running games on a server as it is, but I feel like maybe there's something that can be done in future to be more prepared for when, especially you're dropping a game on launch, that you are going to get like such a massive movement of people on the server. And don't get me wrong, I'm very much like, okay, I get it, but there are some people who just don't get it. And they're the same people that are going to slew a game or complain or moan or cry and be like,
like we're getting to a stage in terms of like technology and that the server issues should not be that serious, is not.
They shouldn't be as drastic as they seem to be. Yeah, and don't get me wrong, I think when there are server issues, the devs definitely are working overtime to make sure things are working, to the standard which they should be. And we have to, give them their props, because sometimes they're working, well into like some of them are working today on the server issues for Outriders, and it's like, there should be relaxing, chilling. It's a weekend. Do you know what I mean? So we have to give them their props. But yeah, I think server issues are something we're just gonna have to get used to. But there are gonna be the odd complaint here and there because sometimes it's just a bit like, I'm trying to enjoy the game you made, but it's just
making it impossible.
Yeah, it's kind of impossible at this stage. But yeah.
Okay, Kingsley Ben-Adir has been cast as the main villain in the Disney Plus series Secret Invasion.
Who is
Kingsley Ben-Adir?
Yeah, I was thinking I've never heard of this guy before.
He played Malcolm X in The One Night in Miami. Anyone seen his Amazon Prime?
Okay.
He's a very good actor. Very good actor, man.
Oh, I recognize his face. Okay, yeah, I recognize his face. No, I've googled him. Okay.
So he played the main villain.
Okay.
Secret Invasion.
Oh, he's in Peaky Blinders as well. All right. What villain is he playing?
Delete it. It was here. It was here in the news. Man.
Does it not say what villain he's playing?
Let's look. Let me see. Let me take a look. See. I can't find it. Well, who do you think he's playing?
It could be anyone.
Well, it's most likely going to be a Skrull, right?
Yeah, it could be a Skrull, so it can be.
Yeah, I thought so.
Okay, even more. Okay, then moving on. Here's Brosnan, who played Dr. Fate in Black Adam.
That's a good casting.
This is an interesting piece of news.
That is a very good casting. I think he's going to do that role justice, definitely. Especially if we see like the before he becomes Fate and like the after, it's going to be sick. It's going to be sick. And the voice.
Before the last episode, before the news came out, we spoke about who's going to be cast with that Dr. Fate.
Yeah,
and
we
that
did.
comes out like 2-3 days after. That is a big cast, and he's been kind of like quiet lately. Pierce Brosnan. So for him to get that role, he's
on a few roles here and there, but he's very much.
But obviously from the James Bond days, he's been a bit quiet in comparison.
Yeah, but he's still an acting legend.
Of course. But I'm just saying in terms of being out there in like the top movies, but he's gonna be now he's joined the superhero world.
It's just interesting that so many of these kind of top billing actors are joining superhero movies, as it were, because I just go back to, I can't remember who it was, the person or director who said, like, you know, superhero movies aren't real movies. I'm like, okay, but you've got the likes of Pierce Brosnan, what's that guy from
Angelina Jolie,
the guy who was in who's the guy in Les Mis? I can't remember the guy in Les Mis. Russell Crowe, like all these big actors now in superhero movies. So what does that even tell you, like, about the nature of superhero movies as it were is now?
Very, very obviously, as the money is involved, is very, very viable. People are taking their roles to next levels where they're taking it seriously as well, and they're putting a lot of depth into it. Even Heath Ledger as well, because obviously arrested RP into him, like, you're showing there's so much depth to these superhero movies. Like they're not kiddie. Obviously, the origins and kiddie stuff, but these actors, because the talent they have, they take it to levels that would have never been possible before.
I think a lot of it also is down to the stories that are being told, because I don't think Angelina Jolie would join a superhero movie if, you know,
the story didn't have any depth.
Yeah, it didn't have any depth to it. And I think what we've seen is we've gone from like the really cheesy tongue-in-cheek movies from, you know, around Iron Man, you know, the first kind of Batman movies, Spider-Man, those kind of movies, to now getting to a point now where we are having these really in-depth and fleshed out movies about these characters. It's not just a case of like, okay, yeah, I'm a superhero, I fight bad guys and I have powers. There's more narrative and story being told, which is why you're getting such top billing actors coming to these roles willingly and being like, yeah, I'll do this role. I can see myself in the MCU or the DCEU for the next, I don't know, 5, 6, 7 years. And that's a testament to what is being made by these amazing directors. Yeah. But
plus, if it makes money, it makes sense.
If it makes money, it makes sense. Period. Yeah, in a sense. Yeah.
Attack on Titan Part 2 to come in winter 2022. So the last obviously season is going to be a 2-part as well, like the last season. Yeah.
I was really concerned that it wasn't going to be.
It was going to finish early.
It took so long to confirm it, and everyone was so up in the air. Everyone was like, "What's happening?"
But they didn't call it Part 1. I don't understand what they called it. Mad late.
Exactly.
Yeah, there was no clarification whatsoever.
High key. I think there wasn't going to be Part 2 initially. I think initially there wasn't going to be a Part 2, but they decided to, okay, fine, let's do Part 2. But
no, there was way too much.
No. I had a feeling, bro. There was something happened. I think something happened for them to be like, okay, we'll do Part 2. Because if there was going to be a Part 2, they would have called it Part 1.
But the thing is, they showed stuff from Part 2 in the original trailer, I think.
Yeah,
that's why it kind of confused me as well.
Okay, yeah, I don't know, man. But I'm glad we're getting part 2. I still haven't finished part 1. I've still got like 3 episodes to watch, but winter 2022, which means like the anime won't finish until 2023.
No, that's the anime.
No, that's what I mean. The anime won't finish until 2023. If it's winter 2022, it's gonna be like November, December.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
So it won't finish until like January 2023.
Around there.
I'm all right with that.
I'm fine with it. At least we get to watch it. But like, this anime has been drawn out for years, right? It's been.
Napper have been doing bits at the minute as well. The animation studio.
For real. Wait, aren't they changing the animation studio for the last part? I read that somewhere. Yeah.
I don't think so.
No, I read it. They're changing the animation studio for the last part, so it's going to be a different animation style.
Oh, that's not good.
I'll double check that, but I'm sure.
The Game of Thrones universe expanding. We're looking to get obviously animated TV shows as well. They're going to finally do King. What's the Fat King's name again?
I know who you're on about.
I know you're on about. I can't remember names, man. I can't even lie to you.
The king, like before he becomes the king, like he fights against the Lannisters.
I remember his name.
But they're gonna do a lot of
Joffrey's dad.
Yeah, Joffrey's dad. Joffrey's fake dad.
Yeah.
Baratheon, is it him?
Yeah, Baratheon.
Yes, Baratheon. Yeah.
Baratheon's like obviously he's like Civil War. They're doing that. We're getting an animated TV show. We're getting prequels. We're getting obviously the House of Dragons. So the Game
I only want to see dragons in it.
Bro, I was just coming to say that. I just want to see dragons. I just want to see dragons at this point. I don't really care for anything else because of Game of Thrones, because that last season, I just want to see dragons. Give me a whole season of dragons and dragon fighting.
That's it.
I'm good. But do you think any of these shows are actually going to be made? Because they just seem to be just like
in development, but
forever in development.
HBO, they're pushing for it, so they're in development. Just obviously, they're waiting to the main guy to flesh out more ideas, and they want to give the right thing to the right directors and producers and that. But HBO, because they're trying to expand their own product anyway, so I think they're gonna push these shows out.
Do you think COVID delayed stuff?
I assume so, but now obviously the COVID world is coming a bit more clearer, so things will start getting pushed through into filming and whatnot.
Gotcha. All right, what's next? Spider-Man No Way Home has wrapped up filming. I'm still not concerned. I'm now very intrigued by this film.
Spider-Man. I would say between his first movie and his third movie, like his movies have been like his trilogy has happened the quickest, right?
Yeah, I'd say so.
He's got the trilogy quickest, right?
I would say so.
Yeah. I'm skeptical about it. I'm very.
It seems like he's had a movie like once every other year, more or less, right? What it seems like.
Let's see. When was the first Spider-Man film?
Well, when did Civil War come out?
Civil War was 2017? 26? Hold on, let's see.
Because what was Homecoming and Away from Home, whatever?
Far From Home.
Civil War was 2016.
What was Homecoming?
Homecoming was 2017.
Then the next one.
Oh,
Far From Home was 2019.
Yeah, then now.
So 2021. So every 2 years. Yeah. 2017, 2019, 2021.
Like he seems like he's got a trilogy the quickest, right?
That's quite quick.
I would not even be surprised if
he gets a fourth film.
I wouldn't be surprised if he got another trilogy. Spider-Man, he's barely on. They've got so many things they can do with him. They can bring Miles in.
I feel like they're gonna give him another film to introduce the Young Avengers and Miles. Then they're gonna kill him off. I can see it happening.
I think he's got 2 trilogies in them personally.
Yes. And plus, he's one of the biggest superheroes ever, so they can stretch it as much as possible.
They can do so much.
His profile as an actor is just growing anyway because he's doing all these other.
Oh yeah.
So I wouldn't be surprised if they wanted to hang on to him for a while.
I'm surprised how quickly he's doing other quote unquote serious roles while being Spider-Man. Because if you look at the other MCU actors, they've done like I guess most or some have done like serious roles before joining the MCU, but during their time in the MCU, they hadn't really done any kind of like quote unquote serious acting. But with him, he's done a lot of like heavy dramas and booked him busy for sure. I just want to see how they're going to bring in the past Spider-Man into this film and how they're going to make it make sense. We talk so much about the theories of this film and multi-dimensional type stuff, and obviously they're bringing back Jamie Foxx.
But didn't they say they were just trolling us?
No, bro, because Jamie Foxx is freaking Electro is in there. Yeah, so they're definitely doing something there.
Yeah, I guess so.
They must do. Starro confirmed as the villain in Suicide Squad. However, like I saw everyone geeking over Starro, and I was like, "Who the fuck is Starro?"
That big thing, like
yeah,
over your body and that, yeah.
I saw like comic book panels. I was like, I don't know who the hell Starro is, but everyone is geeking over it.
Ryan will detail.
Yeah, please explain me, please, because I
just like a starfish, like an alien starfish. He's an enemy of the Justice League, but in the latest run that I read, Batman had a little piece of him in a jar, and he kept him as like a pet, and he became friends.
Okay. I was expecting more. I don't know. I just expecting just more from this kind of reveal because everyone was going mad. I was like, "Oh my god, yeah, Starro!" I was like, "Okay,
yeah, he's old school, isn't it? Like a
fair, okay, all right, but yeah, Starro. What do you think of the trailer though? What do you think?
It's all right.
It was okay. It was better than the other one.
Does it look fun? Does it look like you're actually going to enjoy watching it?
Yeah, I think I will.
You know?
Yeah.
I mean, if it's anything like the first one, I think it'll be all right.
It's just another piece of material, isn't it?
Yeah, I guess something to watch in it.
Yeah, you know what I'm
saying. Right, what's next? Godzilla vs Kong has earned 122 million. What?
Yeah, the film international box office opening weekend.
Already?
I'm not even surprised.
People want to see big monkey.
122 million. Yeah. In a pandemic, in a panorama.
Versus Kong, that's cash money.
In a panini, bro. What?
Monkey,
doesn't matter when you drop that film.
Exactly.
That is kind of mad still. Because
did you see that that GameSpot review?
Oh yeah.
What was it they said? Oh, freaking something about how the film.
If you expect like a plot, don't come. Like, well,
no one wants it for the plot. We want to see a dinosaur and a monkey fight. Therefore, but that's nuts.
What are there for intricacies?
Can you imagine what the numbers would be like if the UK had cinemas open as well?
Bro, would have been crazy.
It would have been at least 150 mil, maybe close to 200.
Same come with Godzilla.
But that's mad. That's actually kind of crazy. I wonder how much they made. How much they spend making the film. Let me see. That'd be very interesting to see. So what? Sorry, no. The total box office now is 190 million.
Just doing a spin, fam.
The budget was 200 million. Wow.
So they're about to break even.
You know what? During the pandemic, that's very good.
They're about to break even.
They're about to break even. That's pretty good. That's very, very good. What do you think of the film, though, guys?
I still ain't watched it, man.
You still watched it? Do you know what? It was fun. It was all right, but I needed more fights between Godzilla and Kong. Yes. I needed more. Like they spent quite a long time kind of filling in the gaps with like the characters and talking and blah blah, or like the filler stuff. But like the actual fight scenes themselves are great, but we needed more. It could have given us an hour of just pure fighting, and I would have loved it. But nah, they didn't. But
I might watch it tonight. I think that's going to be on the agenda.
Right. THR report. The Hollywood Reporter reports that American Gods has been cancelled by Starz and will not return for a fourth season. Thank God for that, because that show should have ended after season 2.
Is it? What was the issues? Or they had issues that apparently.
So
go and chat to me.
The main issue was so the guy who played Anansi, I can never remember his name, but the guy who played Anansi, when the new showrunner took over for season 3, they got rid of the Anansi character because apparently he was too militant, he was too black, he was too on smoke in the show. They wanted to lessen like this portrayal of the black man wanting revolution and violence. But it's like, but Anansi is a Ghanaian god, you know. He was there when his people were taken by the slave masters over from Africa to Europe or to America. So like that's his MO. So they got rid of him. Even behind the scenes, there's a lot of racism. And then the main guy in American Gods, what's his name again? Freaking.
I heard it was making a lot of people uncomfortable, like his storylines and that. Because I was seeing little clips.
Nah, it wasn't making anyone but racist uncomfortable personally.
But yeah, man.
And then
a lot of people in that industry just even. Because you understand, even if you're not racist, if you like for example, even if someone's not racist, but if I'm coming with militant rhetoric, that's still gonna make them uncomfortable.
But that's the character. Would you?
Of course, it's the character, but
yeah,
militant anything is gonna make people feel uncomfortable.
But you have a show about gods, right? And you choose to introduce a god from Africa, and then you're not gonna have him not be kind of militant when it comes to his people. And then you also had like Ricky Whittle, the main guy from the show, behind the scenes saying that, the show is a bit too black, and talking about, like it needs to be toned down a little bit. I'm like, we're all black man yourself. How you anyway. So that's a lot of the reason that a lot of people don't watch the show anymore. So them canceling it, I'm good with it. I don't really care. Initially, I thought it was great. I think it's a great premise to have like these kind of like old gods versus the new gods type situation. We have like tradition versus modern civilization and stuff like that. It was a great premise, great book as well. It's a great book, but yeah, cancel the whole thing, man. I don't give a fuck. Whole thing can go. What's next?
David Ayer hopes his Suicide Squad cut can see the light of the day. It the shit out of executives. So now apparently people are planning for the Ayer cut.
You're reaching, man. You don't want to see that. No one wants to see that.
Wait, so who took over from him when he left Suicide Squad?
Nobody took over him. It's just
but they just
a lot of his stuff that was the Joker got cut out. Like a lot of scenes, a lot of stuff.
Right, okay.
He basically got forced to change the whole plot, to be honest. Yeah. They've done him dirty, 100%, but I'm just not really here for it. I'm not checking it.
He should just release it anyway. Like we're not gonna do like a whole like.
This is what we're doing now. If the movie bombs,
he's got to leak that.
That's what we're doing. If the movie bombs, like, nah, I got another cut in the tuck.
Like a third cut.
Yeah, third cut.
It's a 5-hour cut of the film. Nah, just drop it, man. I got
the movie cut, man. Nah, man.
He's got that Zack Snyder clout.
Nah. He doesn't need a campaign though. He doesn't need a campaign. Just drop the movie. We'll watch it, and then obviously we'll just complain again about how WB fucked him over. It's fine, but. What? So have you seen? Obviously, you've seen the hashtag about restore the Snyder Cut. What do you guys think?
That's what we're gonna get into.
Okay, we're getting into that. Okay, perfect. Cool.
All right, cool. Next, Variety reports that Jordan Fisher is joining the cast of the CW The Flash as Bart Allen. Obviously, I no longer watch The Flash, but once I look to them, they do.
Even if The Flash was a good show, even if it was a good show, I wouldn't have any faith in them to do it because they messed up with Wally West. That character got sidelined. They already brought one in and they didn't even do him justice. So even if it was a good show, I wouldn't even be excited.
They're treating the rubbish.
One thing I'll give the Flash props for, they do introduce characters. Like characters
but sometimes they do nothing with them.
Fairs, but they do introduce them.
Say for example, Cisco, I always felt that he could have been doing so much more from earlier on as like I feel like they brought a lot of people in, but they missed a lot of opportunities with the character.
And they tend to. They like you said, they're great for introducing characters into space. You're like, oh, so now so and so is in it, so and so is in it, but they end up just being throwaways. Like, look at what's the greatest name? Freaking Krog. Yeah, sorry. So they introduced him. He was in for a couple episodes, and then he's gone. But he's supposed to be like one of the main villains that the Flash goes up against regularly. So it's like. I don't know. I have no faith in the show anymore, man. I really don't. I'm just surprised that people are still watching it. To the fact that where they can even have Bart Allen being introduced. I don't know, man. It's just another CW clusterfuck, honestly. Like, yeah, I'm not watching it. I'm not going to.
Cool. Powerpuff Girls live action pilot finds the Professor Utonium in Scrub Star Donald Faison. The CW series is now titled simply Powerpuff.
Did you say live action?
Yeah.
On the live action, Powerpuff Girls.
They can't pull that off. I'm not watching it.
I'm gonna watch it to see how bad it is.
Exactly. Live action Powerpuff. No.
Yeah. So for the one Professor Utonium is gonna be a bold black guy.
They should just kept him white. Why do they need to make him a black guy? Why do they need to make him a black guy?
Asked for a live action Powerpuff Girls, and also another thing is, are they gonna have? Because in Powerpuff Girls,
they don't have fingers. They got like stubs.
They're like knuckles.
Yeah,
like a
stub. It's just a stub. It would have to be. I don't know.
I just can't imagine. I don't think that can translate from animated to live action well.
Nah. Because what's Fuzzy Lumpkins gonna look like? What's Mojo Jojo gonna look like? What's him gonna look like?
The
Amoeba Boys, Gangrene Gang, all these kind of big top villains. Like, what are they gonna look like in like real life, man? That's weird. Nah, cancel it. and make Utonian black or white even. Then cancel it. I don't know. That's gonna be a mess.
That is so out there, you know. A live action
Powerpuff Girls. How is that gonna translate?
I guarantee no one's asked for it. No one wants to see it.
But
who signed off on that?
This has just come to my head though. You know what? Bang live action.
Go on.
Code name Kids Next Door.
Yes. That can work.
Yes.
That can easily.
Yes. That would bang. That would freaking. I'll watch 10 seasons of that. Don't get me wrong.
We don't need to talk about that. Code name Kids Next Door
would slap. Yeah, run that. Who do we need to talk to? Who has seen I'm typing right now. Who do we need to contact?
We're doing the Ludo cut of Codename Kids Next Door.
That would freaking slap, man. Yeah, they should do that. Some Powerpuff Girls ASAP. This episode of the Nerd Council podcast is brought to you by Elgato and the new Wave 1 microphone. Now, I know you're probably thinking this is some generic podcast ad, but mate, you cannot deny the sound quality. The new Wave 1 has allowed us to deliver an incredible audio experience for you guys, while still allowing us to deliver the same great content you all love and enjoy. So go check out the new Wave 1 and see how it can improve your audio content. Now, back to our episode. All right, let's get into our main topic.
I want to talk about obviously the DCEU, their roadmap, and where do we go from here with what they're doing and what their plans are, or what we think. So to start off here, what do you guys think? What do you guys think with obviously? Should we let Zack finish his Snyder Verse vision?
Yeah, 100%. I think we should. I think in terms of the Snyder Cut being a foundation to what could happen within the DCEU, I think it's great. I think they should definitely let him run it, or at least treat it like to an alternate universe. Because obviously they've got the Flashpoint film coming up, which is going to be like its own little reboot. So I don't see why we can't have the Snyder Verse running concurrent to the main DCEU line. I think that's something that can very much run without it hindering Warner Brothers' plans for, DC that they've got planned out, which I don't think is great anyway. But yeah, I think they've allowed Zack to have his film be released. Let's continue, with that storyline, because he's done so. We've got a Nightmare Verse going on. We've got, Dark Side going on. We've seen the introduction of the Lanterns. We've seen Martian Manhunter. Like all these kind of big things. Like we've seen the Joker. Like all these big, moments that were from the film. Are we just gonna say? Oh, WB just gonna be like, okay, well, that was nice. We're not gonna look at them ever again because we've got our own. Like, nah, they should let it run.
Well, what's your thoughts there with this one?
Yeah, I agree 100%. Exactly that. Because do you know what the thing is, especially with how DC operate and how they use the multiverse, they use it so much. So they've already sort of given us the multiverse. So now we know that it's very easy for them to restore the universe. And like Timmy said, just have it as a different alternate universe. They've got the Batman one's going to be set in Earth 2. The CW shows are set in a different universe.
Yep.
So why not? It's very easy, and it's probably easy to see as well that if they'd done it, it would obviously be beneficial to them financially. So if they're sort of willing to sacrifice that to not do it, then it just says to me they're just being petty, really.
Also, with the Snyderverse, would you want that to be like obviously HBO Max only, or would you want it to release in cinemas if they did go forward with it?
I honestly don't care. Just run it. Just run it. Just run it, because like Ryan said, like having it as like its own alternate universe makes sense, because they're doing alternate universes already anyway. So as long as it doesn't, like I said, it's not going to hinder the plans they've got for DC anyway. Let Zack continue with the vision he's got planned out, and we can enjoy everything. For what it is, for what it's worth, and everything else. I know like the DCEU films aren't always great, and it's a bit rocky at the moment, but if they decide, okay, well, we're not going to go forward with Zack's ideas, we're not going to do like the Nightmare Verse, we're not going to explore Dark Side, we're not going to have Martian Manhunter, but we're going to do other things. Like they've got the Green Lantern show coming out on HBO Max. Great, fine. They've got Black Adam coming out. They're going to focus on Shazam, and they're going to form their own Justice League and everything else. Fine, do that while Zack does his one parallel to it, and we can all watch everything and understand that, okay, this is in one universe and this is in another. Done. But they want to be petty. They want to be, they want to be dickheads about it. I can't be like they're being dickheads about it, because at the end of the day, the Snyder Cut happened because it's what the fans wanted. So why would you now not listen to the fans? And the Snyder Cut probably did, well, I don't know how much money the Snyder Cut made, but it definitely made money. So why would you remove something?
The hashtag, didn't it break a record?
The
hashtag broke a record to restore the Snyderverse. That was crazy.
Like,
it was like 1 million in under 24 hours.
Why would you not?
They're just shooting themselves in the foot, really.
It just depends, because if, for example, Warner Brothers, they've been kind of like embarrassed once by the hype of it. Do you think they would want to be based? Because if they let Zack Snyder continue, that means they're admitting that they were wrong. Do you think they'll have?
But
do that?
But you know what? They just need to read the room, innit? Because they're missing the mark every single time. Like, they should know what we want as consumers, innit? Because I don't know, like they're not blind. They must see social media. They would have seen it trending.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said before, like the Snyder Cut was brought up. So every time WB dropped something in terms of a trade or whatever, the comments were just full of like, "Where's the Snyder Cut? We don't care about this. Drop the Snyder Cut." Like, it doesn't matter what WB were doing, they could not escape that the fans wanted the Snyder Cut. So now that we've got it,
becoming a bit toxic though, because now people, other directors and whatnot, are being attacked for that as well.
In what sense?
In terms of, like, for example, when stuff are getting dropped, like, people are like, "We don't care about this. Can you drop this?" Blah blah blah.
But whose fault is that? That's WB's fault, isn't it?
The directors still don't deserve that, innit? At the same time,
they don't. Don't get me wrong, but it was the demand for the cut was more focused on WB than the actual directors of the other films themselves, if you get what I mean. Like, as much as because obviously WB will release a trailer saying this film is coming out, it's a WB film, but people are like, okay, but Snyder Cut, where is it? We want it. Give us some information about the Snyder Cut. Is it being released? Is it in production? It doesn't even exist. Like, for the longest time, we didn't even think the Snyder Cut existed. And that again goes back to WB being like, there is no Snyder Cut. You're never going to get a Snyder Cut. But we now know different. And I just think they do need to listen to the fans, because we're the ones that are going to be spending the money. Like, if the DCEU flops, whose fault is that going to be? Us on us or on them? If they don't give us what we want.
Also, for example, with obviously the restore the Snyder Cut, do you think we're giving too much power into the consumers in terms of now we can, like, obviously pressure?
In a sense, yeah. I feel like with the Snyder Cut, it was slightly different because of it had so many other ongoings going on in the background of the movie.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's so many like shady things going on in the background. And whereas that's why I don't really have the same energy for the Ayer Cut as well. Not just because I'm not checking for it, but doesn't have them complications that went on behind the movie. So I don't feel that fans have the right to demand for that movie as much as they had the right to demand for the other one.
Obviously, now the demand for the Snyder Verse is real, is gaining traction. Do you feel that it's getting to a level where, like, things are gonna be? It's gonna be, obviously, as you know, it broke records where things are gonna be so intense where. But like, we even saw, like, obviously, a lot of Zack Snyder fans were started, like, obviously on random movies were making the movies bomb in terms of the reviews and whatnot because they wanted Snyder Verse.
Well, I mean, this is my thing. Like Ryan said, there was a lot of very unique happenings going on with the Snyder Cut. Hence why I guess the consumers had the say they had in terms of wanting the Snyder Cut. We understood that, Zack lost his daughter, Josh Whedon took over, and then when Josh Whedon's film came out, there was all these kind of like Whedonisms that people really hated, and we could see that it wasn't what Zack's vision for the film was. So it's like, okay, well, we want to see what Zack would have brought out. So hence why it got the hype it got. But there's this thing with WB that, in terms of wanting the Snyder Verse restored, I think it was a case of like, okay, when people found out that they weren't going to continue on from Zack's film, that's when everyone was a bit like, what's going on? Why would you not want to continue on from Zack's film? Because as far as we're concerned, the first Justice League film doesn't exist. The Snyder Cut is the Justice League film that you should be going off from. Why are you not working with Zack to, continue some of the storylines he's established? And then when you look at WB, who's like just recently they've dropped Ava DuVernay's New Gods film, and they've dropped the Marina Trench series. It's like, what's?
I don't care about the Trench, but the New Gods. That's such.
Yeah, I'm gonna get to that. What kind of?
I mean, I don't think it's a case of like caring or not caring about the Trench, but like it's just another story being told within the DCEU. Why would they not want to tell that story, especially when again there was a lot of hype around the trench story being told, because a lot when it comes to Aquaman, the Aquaman film may not have been like a great film in general, but the trench scene got a lot of great reception, and that's when people were like, we want a trench film. Give us a film just about the trench. Give us a DC horror film about the trench, or whatever it is, or series. And that's where that comes from. Why would you not listen to the fans about the kind of direction you want to go in, and listen to the directors that are willing to do the work in order to build a universe that is solid, established, not in a kind of up in the air clusterfuck as it just seems to be at the moment. I'm very concerned when it comes to DC and its own.
This was my next point, because obviously, as the Warner Brothers said, obviously Zack Snyder's obviously Justice League Snyder Cut is not canon. Do we continue the new continuity, and can the DCU be salvaged with Henry Cavill being non-committal and also there being a new Batman?
It can always be salvaged because, or not always actually, but it can definitely be salvaged with the Flash movie, because they've got that Flashpoint up their sleeve. And then who knows what movies, whatever they want to do after that, they can do whatever they want. But it's gonna be difficult for them, I think, at this point.
The question, well, it's a two-pronged question or issue, because it's a case of like, okay, well, everything prior to the Flash film, what's going to happen to those films? Is the Flash film even taking place in the main storyline? Is it an alternate universe? How many alternate universes are they going to have to create in order to make the DCEU more fleshed out?
Is the Flash film ever going to be released as well?
There we go. Because the Flash film is supposed to be that soft reboot, or even a hard reboot to the entire DCEU, structure of films. So when is that film coming out? And what does that mean for films like Suicide Squad? The new Batman film? What does it mean for, Man of Steel? What does it mean for Justice League? What is this reboot actually going to, what does it mean for like Black Adam? Do you know what I mean? Like we know more about Black Adam than we do about the Flashpoint film. We just know that the Flashpoint film is coming out at some point. And this so-and-so actor is or isn't in the film. What does a Flashpoint film actually signify for the DCEU? Is it a reboot? Is it going to happen at the end of this kind of story arc that they are trying to tell? Which I don't even know what the arc is at this point, because all of a sudden we are dealing with Darkseid and we are dealing with the mother box and things like that. I don't even know where the DCEU is really leading up to. So the Flashpoint film very much feels like their emergency exit. When they get to a point where they don't really know what they're going to do with the DCEU, they're going to give us the Flashpoint film as a reboot. But to that point, everything just seems very much up in the air with them. So I don't know. I don't really know what they want to do at this point.
Well, can we move forward with a DCEU, their vision with obviously Superman? We don't know what's going on with him. We're gonna have to cast a new Batman, or they want to use an older Batman. Obviously, Ben Affleck, he stood up for personal reasons, and that's other reasons going forward. Can we continue with all that influx?
We can do. I think they can do, but there's going to be a lot of recasting going on. Like they've already said that they're going to make Superman black and have black Superman in it instead. So
I don't necessarily believe all of that. I don't necessarily think they're going to do that.
But I mean, they can't really replace Cavill as Superman, can they? Because who's really going to do Cavill, Superman justice like Cavill?
I agree. I agree. It's going to be very difficult for them to find someone better for the role. But I think it's just a business. But
then again, they're gonna have to move forward, because obviously Henry Cavill, he says he wants to do it, but obviously he seems non-committal, and plus he has other things going on as well, like his timeline. And obviously with work,
he's doing The Witcher and just other projects.
Again, I think it all stems down to everything that happened around the first Justice League film. I think with Whedon and Johns and WB, that kind of cluster, I say clusterfuck a lot because clusterfuck is just the best way I can describe it all. All the kind of issues that are going on around the film has affected other actors being like yes or no as to whether or not they want to be in the DCEU any further. If there wasn't those issues, then we would still have Henry Cavill for at least another 5-6 years. I think we'd still have Ben Affleck for another 5-6 years, because as far as he was concerned, Batfleck is the best Batman we've ever had on screen, and I'm very much in that mindset. So I don't know what they want to do going forward. I don't know how they're going to go forward, but I know they can go forward. It's just a case of like, for me at this point, it's like I said, it's just going to be a case of like, when are they going to press that button for the Flashpoint?
Yeah,
the Flashpoint is very much that reset button. It's going to be whenever things look like they're going bad, or shit, they're gonna be like, all right, cool, time for Flashpoint. Drop the Flashpoint film, and then they're gonna iron out, all the kind of.
I think Flashpoint is like a lazy cop out though.
Absolutely.
Oh, it is. It's a very
Absolutely.
cheap pop-up. It is. I agree. I
Absolutely.
think they I obviously just think they should have stuck the original course they was on. They shouldn't have changed their mind or steered away from that narrative. Whatever you want to call it.
But what even was the original course though, bro? Like, can you?
The original course was obviously Zack Snyder's vision.
Yeah, I'm talking.
Right, fine. Yeah,
Zack's original course.
Right. Because right now we don't even know what everything's leading up to. If they're not going with Zack's story, are you now telling us that we're not going to get Darkseid? Like, and even to be honest, that even makes some sense because now they've dropped New Gods, we're definitely not getting Darkseid. So what is this all leading up to? What's the point of having all these DC films?
What do we do with the Elseworlds and with the DCU going forward? Should everything just be a self-contained movie? It doesn't have to be connected like the MCU is. They just do self-contained movies going forward then?
I wouldn't be mad at all if they done that because the Elseworld movies, I enjoyed them. I enjoyed Joker. Do you know what I mean? So I can watch them.
I feel like they've set the precedent of creating a joint connected universe. Whether that joint connected universe is connected by one major storyline or multiple multiverses, then fine. But I think the Elseworld films are gems. I think I personally, if I was WB and I saw the success of Joker, I would have been like, you know what? Scrap everything. We're doing Elseworld films. We're just doing pure Elseworld,
self-contained films.
Pure self-contained films. I would have done an Elseworld on Penguin. I would have done an Elseworld on Joker. I would have done an Elseworld on freaking Poison Ivy. I would have done one on what's his name? Swamp Thing. I would have done one on Darkseid. I would have done planning for an Injustice film. Like those are the things I think would grab people's attention. And those are the things I think would establish the DC films from the Marvel films. Because Marvel have done a fantastic job of creating this very, very long story. Almost like one big giant comic book arc. Whereas DC should have been like, you know what, let's take all the great things that make DC great. Let's take these characters and create a collection of films that stand alone.
That stand alone themselves.
Stand alone on themselves and just explore these characters that people know so well. Like there are so many else. Even if they want to do a connected Elseworld series, like a trilogy, or whatever, that's doable. But we don't necessarily need to have this ongoing storyline arc the formula they're trying to take from Marvel, in a sense, in that regard, and see that replicated on the DC side because it's clearly not working. It's not working for them. They're very much at the stage where we don't know where they're leading with the story. We have no idea what's leading up to, especially now they said like Zack's vision is out the book, out the box, out the room, whatever you want to, I can't remember the phrase, sorry. But Zack's vision is gone. So it's like, what now? Where are we actually going?
That also leads to another question because obviously Zack Snyder hasn't been the only director who says his Warner Brothers have meddled a lot. Obviously, the Suicide Squad movie, the first movie, David Ayer said obviously a lot of his movie like scared the shit out of the Warner Brothers executives. Why do you think Warner Brothers, the executives, meddling so much in their movies?
Because they don't care about the characters.
Right. They care about money. They just care about money.
Yeah.
Knee-jerk reactions. They get bad reviews or whatever, and they think, it's going to bomb. We need to do something about it quickly to save it.
They don't understand the characters that they have. They don't understand them. They don't care about them. Because if they did, it wouldn't be a case of like being scared. It's the freaking Suicide Squad, for Pete's sake, man.
Yeah, they're just not in touch with the fan base or the.
Do you know what I mean?
Because they don't understand the reasons why it bombed. Do you know what I mean? I don't think they even understand why.
What would you think? What do you say? You think like some, for example, because obviously, as we know, like people like Jeff Johns, he's meant to know better in terms of like comics and whatnot and the leading storylines. Why do you think he hasn't done such a good job compared to Kevin Feige?
Because he's being paid.
He's a good comic book writer. I mean, as much as I dislike him now as a person, I won't deny how good of a comic book writer he is. But I wouldn't say his skills extend further than that. Just because he's a comic book writer doesn't necessarily mean he's going to be able to like executively produce this show, whatever.
And plus,
someone who is a producer would be more qualified to do that.
Plus, I think he was getting paid enough that he overlooked a lot of shit. I think he was getting paid enough by WB to allow himself to treat Ray Fisher the way he treated Ray Fisher, to allow himself to say the things he did say to Ray and to Jason Momoa and to Gal Gadot and
I'm not gonna lie. I think his ego was very, very big, sort of because he had this like status as he's Jeff Johns. Everyone loves him. Look what he done for the Green Lantern character. He done this. He was basically a god at DC Comics. So I think he had a bit of an ego where he thought he could do what he wanted with the characters. That's just how I see it.
So with the Warner Brothers, there's still all this meddling going on. How do we expect the DC to be any form of success? Because obviously we're seeing a lot of meddling. They don't know the characters they have. They're scared of obviously the test reviews bombing and whatnot, because that's what they get. How do you expect them to produce anything good going forward?
Bro, like I said before, it's just going to be a case of like, they're going to keep doing what they're doing until it gets to a point where they either are going to have to sell the rights to another studio or press the emergency button and do Flashpoint.
I don't think it'll ever get that bad. I don't think it'll ever get that bad.
Bro, it could be. It could do.
I mean, no, because look at the success of the Joker movie.
But that's Joker though. You have to remember that when for the most part, when we talk about the DC films, we aren't talking about Joker. We're talking about Man of Steel. We're talking about BVS.
I would say even the movies like that, the Black Adam is gonna do a lot of money. I don't think they'll ever be in danger like that. But I don't know.
Okay.
It's a tough one.
Also, wouldn't the Batman movie be Elseworlds as well then?
It is, yeah. Set on
Yeah,
Earth.
it's gonna be Elseworlds. The older Batman was to do Batman Beyond. So I personally think their best bet going forward is just making self-contained
Elseworld stuff.
They don't have to connect everything, because for some reason they don't have someone who has who has a vision board that can connect movies over 10 years or a long period of time. Just make self-contained movies. They don't have to connect everything. Put characters in their own movies or just link up characters and just go from there. Keep making movies, one or two movies here and there, because that seems like, I think it would be easier for them, because for some reason they don't have someone who has that thinks long term, that vision board that thinks long term. How am I going to take this person from now to 10 years down the line where they're going to be in their own TV shows? Just do self-contained, man.
Because the beauty of the self-contained movies and verses, whatever you want to call it, is that they can get different directors to encompass their own vision for these characters in different ways. So we can see a variety of films without it being a case of like, okay, well, if these films are overarching and connecting to each other, it's not going to be a case of like, okay, like it's not going to be a case of like that director did a crap job with the previous film, so this director needs to fix this director's mistakes. It's just a case of, I'm a director, I like, for example, I don't know, Harley Quinn. I'm going to make a Harley Quinn-esque Elseworld film around Harley, her relationship with Ivy, post-Joker, pre-Joker, whatever you want to call it.
Even Birds of Prey, that was Elseworlds as well, so yeah.
No, is it Elseworld?
No,
it's not Elseworld. See?
It's not Elseworlds.
It's not Elseworld, bro. It's not
Elseworld. Bro.
Yeah.
That's what it was. It was rubbish.
It's forgettable. I forgot that film even exists.
Bad. It's awful. Honestly, it's just horrible.
I thought it was Elseworlds, man.
Nah, man. So just do Elseworld stuff, because then it's going to be a case of when it comes down to like the same way Marvel celebrated 10 years. When it comes to 10 years of DC, what we're going to be looking at? So do the Elseworld stuff, because when it comes to another 10 years, then we could be like, okay, well, in the 10-year span, DC created 20 amazing Elseworld films, looking at very different characters and diverse characters from the DC universe. And we'll praise that, because that's gonna be amazing. Like the Elseworld films could very much be in their own right, its own little universe where we're seeing, I don't know, there's so many stuff they could do. It actually angers.
Also, another thing that makes sense to go Elseworlds, DC, they're making obviously TV shows as well. So we don't know if these TV shows are connected to everything. For example, the Marvel TV shows, obviously Falcon and Winter Soldier, WandaVision, they're connected to the main MCU. It seems like these TV shows are not going to be connected to anything. So it makes sense for them to carry on down the self-contained stuff.
Like they're very much going on the basis of like the multiverse exists. Like we've seen like I'm so bad with names. We've seen like the Flash from the DC films in the Flash from the TV show. Yeah. But then that the multiverse got destroyed in the TV show, and like there's just a lot of mess going on. Just do the Elseworld stuff. Focus on that, and I think people's attitudes towards the DC will change, because it might even be a case of like, if they start doing more Elseworld stuff, people will be like, why doesn't Marvel do one as well? Because at the moment, there does seem to be a bit of like, okay, well, Marvel have done this, so DC needs to do it too. Hence why when Marvel announced, the Eternals film, DC were like, okay, well, we're going to do a New Gods film. But now that's getting dropped. And when the Eternals film does great, people are going to be looking to DC and be like, why didn't you do New Gods? This could have been new. But
yeah, but I don't think. I mean, I do disagree that they shouldn't have cancelled New Gods. I do agree with that. But I don't think people should look at Marvel and be like, oh, well, they're doing Eternals, so you have to do New Gods. It shouldn't work like that.
It shouldn't.
I think that's a part of the problem as well. So a lot of people were like, well, Marvel were doing a connected universe, so DC have to as well.
Mm-hmm.
Was that the issue? Because I always felt like initially DC were doing their own thing anyway, but they saw the success of Marvel's connected universe and were like, okay, well, let's try and replicate that.
I see it as DC were originally doing their thing, and fans wanted sort of the Marvel formula. I didn't get that, so they slated Batman versus Superman. So then that's when the issue started for me. I don't think it ever got a fair sort of crack, either with both the fan bases and with the media as well, the journalists.
I agree. Obviously, as we know, Ava DuVernay, obviously New Gods and James Wan's The Trench are not moving forward, but the door's open for Warner to revisit these properties down the road, really filmmakers. Why do you think they've been shelved? And also, don't think this is a bad look, shelving movies from PLC directors?
Bro, I was even coming to say that. Like the two black and PLC directors they've got rid of, getting rid of a pivotal film like the New Gods doesn't make sense. Apparently Ava was doing such an amazing job writing that film. She had Jack Kirby's son, I think it was, speaking about the work she's done on the film, and that they found out the film is not being made. It's like, you can't really say that you're going to look at it in the future, because now is the time.
Yeah, exactly. That just says we're getting rid of it, and that's it.
That's it. There is no looking into the future, because in the future it's going to be too late. We've just seen Dark Side, we've just seen Granny Goodness, and now you don't want to give us what?
That's what also hurts about not getting the Snyder Cut back, because obviously he released that picture of Granny Goodness, Starro or whatever. We're not going to get Snyder's version of Apocalypse and the New Gods, and we ain't going to get the other one either. So it's like 2 L's, isn't it?
2 major L's, man.
Just a bad look, because obviously, why are you cancelling or shelving the projects of the PLC directors?
And you can't really blame COVID, because it's not even in production yet. It's still very much in the planning stage.
We're in the idea phase, and you're shelving that. And it would have been, obviously, there would have been all sorts of whatever. I'm not sure the Trench, but it would have been refreshing to see New Gods and stuff like that. Just something different. Miracle Man, Tron, all that stuff, Metron, all those things.
Especially because, again, it allows people who may not be familiar with characters from, the New Gods kind of
gives them
it gives them a very good, for example, Eternals. I'm telling you, many people do not know about the Eternals when it comes to Marvel comics. So having the Eternals film is okay, we get to learn about these new characters and how they, fit into the Marvel universe. However, you can't really take away New Gods like that when, I don't know, man. I just get frustrated thinking about DC. I really do, because they have such potential in terms of what they could create.
And they when you think about just characters like licenses, they didn't have the pitfalls and downfalls that
at all.
For example, MCU had they were basically started with the one hand tied by the back.
Yeah, no, but yeah, 100%.
Right? Why do you think the DC they're canceling these stuff? Why do you think that all this is happening?
Bro, I couldn't tell you.
Yeah,
I couldn't tell you. It's that real. It's just it's weird though, because it just feels like they constantly. This isn't like the first time. From time they've had movies going in and out of development. Do you remember when there was a Nightwing movie in development? There was a Batgirl movie in development.
Yep.
Batgirl changed from Batgirl into Birds of Prey. Their shit's constantly changing, isn't it? I don't know.
All I'm saying is they've spoken about a static film. If that film gets cancelled, I'm going mad.
Have they spoken about? With the static film? Have they just spoken about it? Have people started writing?
I think they found a director for it. From what I understand, it's very much in the this film is going to happen. We found a director. We need to get into the pre-production stage and stuff like that. So,
who would you want to play Static Shock?
Bro, I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I want someone young and new. I want someone young and new. I don't want an adult star. I want a young star.
You want them to not be British?
I don't care. I don't care who they cast. Just make him black and young, and I'm good, man. And up and coming. I'm down for that. But so what's the next DC film that's coming out?
God knows, bro. You're right. What's the next DC film?
I don't even know. I honestly don't even know.
Let's take a look, see. Because I don't even know where we're going with this now.
After that Snyder Cut drop, I took a big break.
I checked out. I can't rely. I checked out. All right, let's see. Suicide Squad is this year. Then Black Adam in 2022. Right, so the Flash film is taking place in 2022 as well.
Well done.
Mm-hmm.
I don't believe that.
Yeah, it's in production to be in 2022. With Aquaman 2 set in 2022 as well. So their soft reboot is coming. Their soft reboot is coming. Like it's coming very, very soon.
Everything's happening in 2022, and then Shazam: Fury of the Gods is in 2023.
I'm interested in that because obviously I'm gonna get like Zeus and them, man. That'll be interesting.
Let's see.
I'd love to see a crossover between Wonder Woman and Shazam.
Yeah, just all the God mythology and stuff, innit?
Yeah, like I don't think you can have a Black Adam and Shazam films without Wonder Woman making an appearance somewhere, especially when they're so connected to each other in terms of like mythos and mythology and stuff like that. Black Adam versus Wonder Woman will be a very good fight to see, actually.
Black Adam versus Superman.
Black Adam versus Superman, obviously, yeah, but Black Adam versus Wonder Woman will be sick as well, I think.
Ryan, Superman will get punched up that magic weakness he has.
I mean, he's weak to it, but he'll still smoke his boots.
Actually, wait, tangent. So when we say Superman is weak against magic, what exactly do we mean? Because what you're telling me then is like
he's vulnerable to it. It doesn't mean just because you got magic you're gonna win.
Yeah, but
right.
But as in where Superman is like pretty much indestructible or like invulnerable, he's not to magic, so it can hurt him. That's all it is.
Right. But, so potentially Dr. Fate could be Superman. Potentially, depending on the right spells and stuff.
Yeah, but it's not that simple, isn't it?
Yeah. Okay. All right. Fine. Because we speak about like people bring up a lot like if it's magic, Superman's done for. Superman's finished.
It's not like it's a foregone conclusion that magic's gonna just end him. He's done for. No, it's just it makes the fight a bit more interesting, I would say.
Oh, yeah, because he can actually take damage, isn't it?
Yeah. Right. Okay. Gotcha. All right. Cool. But yeah, I mean the future of I think with Flash coming out next year, that's when we're going to get a better idea of what the DC is leading up to in terms of like what they're doing, if they're doing an overarching connecting story.
But that's the issue. We don't know what's happening after 2024.
But this is the thing. We don't even know. We don't know what's kind of happening at all. Like you said, like we don't know what is leading up to. Is the Green Lantern series even part of the DCEU, or is that standalone like the CW stuff?
I think it's not CW. It's attached to HBO Max.
It's HBO Max, yeah.
So I don't know. I thought it was going to be similar to how Marvel done theirs, but now I don't think it is because I think
because Marvel's was connected.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Do you know, because the Snyder Verse, you see how obviously Martian Manhunter, it was meant to be Martian Manhunter and Jon Stewart.
Yeah.
I think that's why he got cut out of the movie. They wouldn't let him use Jon Stewart because they're saving him for the HBO Max.
But I just feel like, are you not going to have these series connected to the main films? Because if you're not, it's a wasted opportunity. I think because you can't really give us lanterns in the Snyder Cut. In fact, no, there was lanterns in the first Justice League film, right?
No.
There was one.
It was meant to be, obviously, but they got cut out of it. Oh, you saw the one in the Ancient War.
Yeah, the one in the Ancient War, right? So they very much established in the main DCEU continuity, right? Yeah. So you can't then not either reference or link it back to the DCEU some kind of way, man.
I agree.
I would say, but with the whole Warner Brothers DC, I'm not surprised they do anything that doesn't make any sense.
I think that's why they didn't let Jon Stewart in it, and that's why I think it's not connected. I think that's just a big clue.
It's a mess. It's just a mess, man. Like, honestly, it's really. It's just one big mess. We'll see. Let Flashpoint happen first, and we'll see in it. But
it's so lazy, bro. Flashpoint, bro.
It is.
I mean, no. Having said,
I'm gonna say this now. I think Flashpoint in general is very lazy because even that's how they even ended the DC animated universe. They ended it with Flashpoint.
Wait, hold on. One sec. Sorry.
It's not lazy like the first time you do it, but when you do it and then do it, you just use it as like a hack, as like a cheat code.
It is a cheat code because you see it happen many times.
Like it's something that you can only use once or twice. Like use that once, that's your chance done. You can't be doing that.
I'm just saying we've seen it happen more than once though.
This is what I'm saying. Yeah, I'm agreeing with you, bro. 100%.
So there are going to be
Justice League Dark. Sorry, team, but Ryan, you've seen Justice League Dark Apocalypse War, right?
Justice League Dark, the animated movie.
Yeah.
Apocalypse
War. Have you seen Apocalypse War?
Oh yeah, I've seen it. Yeah, 100. Yeah.
So how did it end? That was meant to be the ending of the DC animated universe. How did it end?
Flash going back in time.
Go back in time. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, no, I didn't like it. I didn't think that movie was even that good, to be honest.
Okay, so I'm just looking at the DCEU page on Wiki, right? So films in development at the moment, The Amazons, Batgirl, Black Hawk, Blue Beetle, Booster Gold, Deadshot, Gotham City Sirens, which I forgot about, the Green Lantern Corps pick is still happening, the film. Scheduled for 2022, 2023. Hourman, Lobo, Nightwing, Plastic Man, Static Shock, Supergirl, and an untitled Superman film, and Wonder Woman 3, and Zatanna as well. Zatanna was recently announced. So all these films are in.
Some of them are definitely dead in the water.
Exactly, without a doubt. Dead.
Which ones?
But it does go to show you that these are all movies that at some point were in development.
No, it says they're very much in development now. In terms of films,
they're going to be dead in the water though.
Right.
That Nightwing movie, we're never watching that. 100% not watching that Nightwing movie. I can say that now. Because
remember, New Gods and the Trench were in development. New Gods got so far that a script was being written, the whole storyboard.
The script was nearly finished, apparently.
Exactly. So, a lot of them are going to be literally the DC. The Warner Bros. Like, nah, we're not doing that. Sorry, director, for wasting your time. We're not doing that.
In terms of series, Peacemaker. I don't know how we're getting a Peacemaker series.
Why are we getting a Peacemaker?
Why are we getting a Peacemaker series?
I can't lie, that pissed me off.
Why are we getting a Peacemaker series? So that's happening next year.
John Cena plays him.
Justice League Dark and Constantine as well are in development.
Yeah.
But the question is just like, what is it leading up to? What, like, even with all these kind of films in development, what we leading up to?
They're not leading up to anything. That's the thing. For example, even if they release all these films, what's the overarching reason for these films?
But that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm trying to say, bro. What's the overarching story? What's it? Because
what is the reason? What
is the reason?
If you're saying that if you want them to be self-contained, then there doesn't need to.
No, but
they're not self-contained, bro. They're not
self-contained, though, right?
They're not.
We don't know that yet. I'm just saying they should be self-contained. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I hear what you're saying. But obviously, the Snyder thing just knocked everything off course, isn't it?
That's what I'm saying. The Snyder thing
knocked everything for them, isn't it? Obviously, they fumbled the bag massively, isn't it?
They might have something better in mind, once Flashpoint is happening and they readjust what films, will make sense and what films are coming out and stuff like that. I think Flashpoint next year is gonna be that hard reboot. They're starting from ground zero again. But then the question then becomes, what happens to previous characters and storylines and stuff like that. But we'll have to wait and see. But I'm not impressed. I'm not impressed. So just yeah. At least we have Marvel.
Yeah, my word.
Or at least we have Marvel.
Word.
You say right? Okay, listen. Yeah. Did Falcon and the Winter Soldier even slap like that?
Oh, that's slapping, bro.
It's slapping. It's slapping.
It's slapping like that, bro. Don't lie.
No. Hold on. Ryan. It's slapping. And it's not slapping like One Division, but it's slapping.
It's not slapping like that.
It's a solid story. It's a solid storyline. It's a solid story.
Rest in peace.
100% it's mid.
Right. What am I smoking on?
Why are you mad, bro?
Right.
Why are you mad, bro?
Yeah. I said that DC pack. No, listen.
DC pack.
No, Falcon and the Winter Soldier isn't slapping like it should be. Listen,
get out of here, bro.
Okay, but it's a solid.
6 episodes.
Come on. But it's a solid story anyway, and it's fine because a couple weeks later we're gonna get Loki anyway. So
speak on it.
So
Ryan, our house is in order.
like, we got our shit together, bro. I don't know about you.
Don't throw stones out of a glass house, innit? That's what I'm saying.
Don't worry about what we're doing. Worry about what you're doing.
What you're doing, bro.
We both know, innit?
Then
Soldier, Bucky.
Yeah, I think Bucky. I don't like this non-brainwash Bucky, man.
Don't you think that it's a bit? Don't you think it's a bit cringy at this point now? Yeah, where we are in the story, that Bucky and Sam are still making, but they're still bickering like kids. They should have left that in Civil War. Like, I just think it's that whole dynamic between Bucky and Sam, I think, should be so much different to what it is.
But then again, remember, you got to understand, Sam he vanished for 5 years. So they couldn't improve their relationship like that.
I hadn't thought of that, to be fair. But I do. I think it's just a bit like...
But I hear where you're coming from.
Like a bit of a trope now, isn't it? A bit of a trope. It's a bit of a trope now, isn't it? And I think they're just overusing it. Like, in Civil War, when they were arguing in the car and that, it's like, okay, cool. It's not funny, but it's bearable.
It's funny, man.
Ryan will laugh in the cinema and say it's not funny.
It's the whole, like, you know...
4K laughing. You came on the next of the pod saying, I didn't laugh.
Listen, as I was saying, yeah.
Like, Ryan, I get it. Like, it's the whole, like, you know, I'm Steve's real best friend. No, I'm Steve's real best friend. Let's fight to see who's the best friend. The best friend. Like, I get it, but it works. For the story, it works. And it's only a few more episodes and we're done. Like, did they just get your shit together, guys? Honestly, but you know.
Okay, wrapping it up.
Are we done?
Yeah.
Oh, we're done. All right. Well, people, thank you very much for tuning in to today's episode. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did enjoy it, give us a like, drop a comment below, subscribe to the channel, wherever you're listening to, whether it's on Apple Podcasts or Spotify or SoundCloud or YouTube, do what you will. Follow us on all the socials. We're on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Twitch, YouTube, LinkedIn, Bebo, MySpace, all the good stuff. Check out the website. What else? Use the hashtag. Yeah, use the hashtag the Nerd Council when talking about the episode. Send us questions. Drop us emails. No announcements. I'm waiting for the pandemic to kind of be over before we start working on other stuff. This year, I feel like because the pandemic's kind of ending, we're going to be working a lot more community events. The quiz night's coming back, a couple of gaming tournaments, movie screenings, the whole shebang. Like, we're coming back harder than ever. Like, we have to. So look out for those announcements. Merch might be coming soon. I don't know. I want to get some merch out. I feel like people need some summer apparel to be rocking in the sun and stuff. So look out for that too. But yeah, guys, thank you for tuning in. And until next time.
Over and out.
Peace out. Are you a content creator looking for some new kit? Well, Elgato has a quality range of products just for you. That's right, Elgato isn't just for gaming content. From the chroma key green screen, the key light which provides studio quality lighting, and of course the new wave run microphone providing outstanding quality audio, Elgato is there to meet all your content creation needs. Visit elgato.com and check out the full range of products for more information. And a big shout out to Elgato for supporting us.